Welcome back to the Social Science class of Standard 6. Today we are going to start Chapter 1, Understanding Diversity from Social and Political Life. The name of the chapter is Understanding Diversity. What do you mean by diversity? What do you mean by the term diversity? Diversity means different languages, religions, rituals, regions, customs and traditions. Different languages, religions, rituals, regions, customs and traditions. What is the opposite of diversity? Unity. Unity means oneness, holding together. Oneness despite diversity in emotions and patriotism is known as unity. So, oneness despite of different languages, religions, rituals, regions, customs and traditions is known as unity. In the first page of the lesson, there are 3 drawings. After that, there is an empty column. There you can draw your own figure. Are the drawings same? No, never. Why? Because each one have different patterns of drawing. In the next page, there is an activity given that you can do yourself. On the same page and the next page, there is a story given about 2 boys, Samir Ek and Samir Do. In that story, Samir Ek and Samir Do have so many differences. Let us look at the differences. Samir Ek knew English, but Samir Do knew Hindi. Samir Ek knew English, but Samir Do knew Hindi. Samir Ek is a student, while Samir Do didn't attend school. He is a newspaper seller. Samir Ek is a Hindu boy, but Samir Do is a Muslim boy. From this, we know that Samir Ek and Samir Do have so many differences. These differences did not prevent them from becoming friends. As a child, you come to school. Perhaps in your area, there might be children who doesn't have an opportunity or resources to come to school. What is it? This is known as inequality. You have an opportunity, but others didn't have an opportunity. What do you mean by inequality? Inequality means it comes about when a person does not have the resources and opportunities that are available to other persons. So, inequality comes about when a person does not have the resources and opportunities that are available to other persons. Next is caste system. Caste system is an example of inequality. Caste system is an example of inequality. What is caste system? Society dividing into groups, doing the same work generation after generation. So, caste system means society dividing into groups, doing the same work generation after generation. For example, if your father is a potter, you also will become a potter. And the coming generation also will become a potter. Who is a potter? Potter means those who make pot out of clay. Next point is diversity in India. Diversity in India. India is a country of many diversities. India is a country of many diversities. Why? We have different languages, have different type of foods, celebrate different festivals, practice different religions. That's why India is a country of many diversities. So, look here. India is a country of many diversities. Why? Because we speak different languages. You know that in Kerala, which is our language? Malayalam. In Tamil Nadu, Tamil. In Karnataka, Kannada. So, like that way, we speak different languages. And we have various type of food. North India's and South India's food style also different. So, we have various types of food and celebrate different festivals. We celebrate different festivals, practice different religions. That's why India is a country of many diversities. But actually, we do many things that we are similar, except that we do them in different ways. Some things are there that we do different ways. We do many things that are similar. At the same time, we do some things in different ways. Next point, how do we explain diversity? How do we explain diversity? More than 200 years ago, people traveled one part of the world to another for several purposes. Which are the purposes? Maybe for searching food, or searching new place or land for settling, or maybe there was a drought or famine, or there was a war, maybe for trading purposes. Anyway, because of several reasons, people traveled one part of the country to another or one part of the world to another for different purposes. Let us see. More than 200 years ago, people traveled from one part of the world to another for several purposes. Which are they? Search of new lands or places to settle in. Search of new lands or places to settle in. And next point, for trading purposes. Maybe because of famines and drought. Maybe because of famines and drought. Maybe for searching food. Maybe for searching food. In search of work. Search of new work. There was a war. Maybe there was a war. Because of these reasons, more than 200 years ago, people traveled one part of the world to another. Then, people began to make their homes in new places. People began to make their homes in new places. So, their languages, food, music, religions became a mix of old and the new. And out of this intermixing of cultures came something new and different. So, people began to make their homes in new places. So, their languages, food, music, religions, regions became a mix of the old and the new. And out of this intermixing of cultures came something new and different. There is given an activity, page number 8 in the textbook. Page number 8. Let us discuss that now. List at least 3 different ways in which people in India do the following. First one is different ways in which people pray. Different ways in which people pray. First column is already given there. Through singing a hymn. Through singing a hymn. What is the meaning of hymn? A song of praise or worship. A song of praise or worship. A religious song or poem of praise to God. That is known as hymn. Second column. Through worshipping idols of goddesses and gods. Through worshipping idols of goddesses and gods. Third one. Through namaz. Through namaz. Namaz means prayers. So, these are the different ways in which people pray in India. Which are they? Through singing a hymn, through worshipping idols of goddesses and gods, through namaz. Then, second, different ways in which people get married. Which are the different ways in people get married? First method, through arranged marriages and celebrations. Through arranged marriages and celebrations. Second method is already given there. Through signing a register in the court. Through signing a register in the court. Third method, through love marriages. Through love marriages. So, these are the 3 different methods in which people get married in India. Then, third one, different ways in which people dress. Different dress style. In Uttar Pradesh, women wear saris. In Kerala also women wear saris. In Punjab, women wear kurta and salwar. In Punjab, women wear kurta and salwar. In Manipur, women wear a finik. In Manipur, women wear a finik. What is the meaning of finik? Mini sari with a blouse and an upper cloth. Mini sari with a blouse and an upper cloth is known as finik. So, these are the different styles of dress. Different ways in which people dress. Then, different ways in which people greet each other. different methods of greetings. First one, by saying namaste. By saying namaste. Then in Jharkhand, many Adivasis say Johar in greet each other. The word Johar used for greeting each other. Then by saying Vandanam or good morning, and that also we use. Then different ways in which people cook rice. Which are the different ways in which people cook rice? By making biryani with the meat or vegetables. By making biryani with the meat or vegetables. What is another way? By making idlis or doshas. Then next one, by making appam. Okay, so these are the different ways in which people do in India. So let us see the board. People pray through singing a hymn, through worshipping idols of goddesses and gods, through namaz. Namaz means prayers. Different methods of marrying. Get married through arranged marriages and celebrations, through signing a register in the court, through love marriages. Then dress style. In Uttar Pradesh, women wear saris. In Kerala also, most of the women wear saris. In Punjab, women wear kurta and salwar. In Manipur, women wear a v-neck. Then people greet each other by saying namaste. In Jharkhand, many Adivasis say Johar. Then by saying Vandanam. Vandanam or good morning or good afternoon, good evening, etc. Then cook rice. Methods of cooking. Making biryani, idlis or doshas, appam or fried rice. So these are the different methods which we use, people of India. Next is diversity in regions. Diversity in regions. What is a region? A place or land. It can happen because of several reasons. Maybe their unique histories or different cultural influences or different geographical area which they live. For example, the people living near the sea is quite different from living in a mountainous area. So which are the different reasons for regional diversity? Their unique histories, different cultural influences, geographical area. Geographical area means physical area. Physical area in which they live. For example, living near the sea is quite different from living in a mountainous area. Historical and geographical factors influence the diversity of a region. Historical and geographical factors influence diversity of a region. We can understand this by comparing two places, Ladakh and Kerala. It is given in the textbook, page number 9 and 10. Let us look geographical and historical factors of Kerala and Ladakh. First point, Kerala located in the southwest of India, bounded by sea on one side and by mountains on the other side. So Kerala is located in the southwest of India. Which part? Southwest of India. And it is bounded by, bounded means surrounded by sea on one side and mountain in the other side. So Kerala is located in the southwest of India and it is surrounded by sea on the one side and mountains in the other side. But Ladakh, it is a desert in the mountains in the eastern part of Jammu and Kashmir. So Ladakh is a desert in the mountains. Mountains means mountains, hilly regions. In the eastern part. Which part? Eastern part of Jammu and Kashmir. So Kerala is the southwest part of India, but Ladakh is a desert in the mountains in the eastern part of Jammu and Kashmir. Secondly, in Kerala, it is very famous for spices. Which are the important spices in Kerala? Which are they? Do you remember that? Yes, pepper, cloves and cardamoms. So that spices are grown on the hilly regions. But in Ladakh, there is snow for a long period. In Ladakh, there is snow for a long period. In Kerala, it is famous for spices like pepper, cloves and cardamoms, and they are grown on the hilly regions. But in Ladakh, it is there is snow for a long period. And in Kerala, it is a fertile land. In Kerala, fertile land is there and abundant rainfall. Lot of rainfall is there. That's why it is suitable for rice cultivation. So, Kerala land is fertile, very fertile, and abundant rainfall is there. That's why it is suitable for rice cultivation. But in Ladakh, scanty rainfall. What is the meaning of scanty? Very less. Because of very less rainfall, here very little agriculture only there. Very little agriculture production or agriculture farming. So, in Ladakh, because of snow for a long period and scanty rainfall, there is very little agriculture production or agriculture farming. Next is, the main occupation of Kerala is fishing. The main occupation of Kerala is fishing. But in Ladakh, main occupation is sheep keeping. Sheep keeping. In Kerala, fishing is the main occupation. But in Ladakh, sheep keeping is the main occupation. There is a particular type of sheep. From it, they get which one? Pashmina wool. From that Pashmina wool, they make a Pashmina shawl. Ladakh is famous for Pashmina shawl. Next point is, the major food in Kerala is rice, fish and vegetables. The major food in Kerala is rice, fish and vegetables. While the major food in Ladakh is meat, milk, cheese and butter. Here the major food in Kerala is rice, fish and vegetables. While in Ladakh, the major food is meat, milk, cheese and butter. Next point is, Arab traders came and settled here. Arab traders came and settled. Ibn Battuta travelled 700 years ago. Ibn Battuta travelled 700 years ago. Muslim population reached here 400 years ago. Muslim population reached in Ladakh 400 years ago. Next point, St. Thomas landed here and brought Christianity to India. St. Thomas landed in Kerala and brought Christianity to India. Buddhism reached Tibet via Ladakh. Buddhism reached Tibet via means through Ladakh. Buddhism reached Tibet via Ladakh. Next point is, different religions. Which are the different religions in Kerala? Judaism, Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, etc. Okay, so different religions such as Judaism, Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, etc. are practiced here due to historical background. Because of historical background in Kerala, different religions are practiced here. It is also called Little Tibet. Ladakh is also called Little Tibet. Kesar Saga, Tibetan national epic. What is the name of Tibetan national epic? Kesar Saga. It is sung by both Muslims and Buddhists. So, Kesar Saga sung by both Muslims and Buddhists in Ladakh. We already studied that fishing is the main occupation of Kerala. Fishing is the main occupation of Kerala. For that, Cheenavela is used for fishing. In Kerala, Cheenavela is used for fishing. In Ladakh, sheep is the main animal. Besides that, there we can see other animals like goat, cow and sows. Sows means a yak cow. So, besides sheep, in Ladakh we can see goat, cow and sows. Among this, we could understand that Kerala and Ladakh are entirely different from its geographical features, while they have same cultural influences. Kerala and Ladakh have same cultural influences. Both have attracted by Chinese and Arab traders. Kerala is famous for which one? Kerala is famous for its spices and Ladakh is famous for its Pashmina wool. That's why both have attracted by traders. This shows that actually history and geography are often tied in the cultural life of a region. In India, unity and diversity is seen during the British rule also. We have different culture, religions, regions, customs, etc. British took this diversity as advantage and they ruled here around 200 years. But we are joining together and opposed them. We participated freedom struggle in different ways. Which are they? They took part in the freedom struggle. We took part in the freedom struggle. They went to jail together. They went to jail together without considering the creed, caste, etc. They worked together to decide joint actions. They worked together to decide joint actions. They acted as one against the Britishers. They acted as one against the British. At last, in 1947, we attained freedom. There is a song given in the textbook, page number 11, and that song was sung after the Jallianwala Bagh Massacre in Amritsar. Amritsar is in Punjab. What is Jallianwala Bagh Massacre? It was a protest against the British. And so many people, men, women, Hindus, Sikh, rich, poor, all type of people joined together, had gathered there to protest against the Britishers. And British General ordered fire. British General Dyer ordered fire on a large group of unarmed peaceful people and thousands of people died. So this song was composed and sung to honor the memory of those brave people. Songs and symbols that emerged during British rule also reveals our country's rich tradition of respect for diversity. And our national anthem, which is our national anthem? Jana Gana Mana. It is written by Rabindranath Tagore. And our national song, which is our national song? Vande Mataram. It is written by or composed by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. All these reveal our unity in diversity. And that's why our first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, in his book, The Discovery of India, says that Indian unity is not something imposed from the outside, but rather it was something deeper and within its fold the widest tolerance of belief and custom. What is the meaning of tolerance? Practice. Practice of beliefs and custom was practiced and every variety acknowledged. Acknowledged means recognized as being important or good and even encouraged. So it was Nehru who coined the phrase unity in diversity to describe the country. So our country is the best example of unity in diversity. So Indian unity is not something forced on, it is within us. So Indian unity is not something forced on, it is within us. I hope you understood the chapter. Read the chapter 5 or 6 times and try to find the answers of the questions given in the textbook. Thank you.